In a world where avatars thrived under neon skies and pixelated rainbows, Alex Thompson lived a double life. By day, he was your average 20-something, working a monotonous job at a tech support center, fielding calls from frustrated customers who couldn't figure out how to turn their devices on. But by night, he transformed into Xylo, an over-the-top warrior with flowing blue hair, clad in shimmering armor that glinted in the virtual sunlight. Xylo was everything Alex wished to be: bold, charismatic, and surrounded by a loyal band of virtual friends. One evening, as Alex prepared to log in, he took a moment to survey his room. Posters of fantasy landscapes adorned the walls, and empty pizza boxes formed a tower on his desk, a testament to his culinary skills, or lack thereof. With a deep breath, he clicked the mouse and dove into the vibrant realm of Epic Realms. The virtual world exploded into color. The first thing he saw was a flurry of chat notifications, each ping tugging at his heartstrings. Xylo. You're finally here. Let's raid the Dragon's Den. I miss you, buddy. Feeling the warm glow of companionship, Alex beamed. But as he hurried to join his friends, he tripped over his own pixelated cape, face planting into a glistening pond. The water splashed dramatically, sending nearby fish scattering, while his friends burst into laughter. Great entrance, Xylo. Lila, a mischievous fairy with a sparkle in her eyes, teased as she floated above him. Next time, maybe try walking. Mechs, the brooding warrior, added, I've seen better landings from a rock. As they all laughed, Alex felt a rush of joy. Here, in this whimsical universe, he was accepted, cherished even. But in the back of his mind, a shadow lurked, a fleeting thought that nagged at him. Would anyone really miss him if he logged off? The days turned into weeks of immersive escapism. Each night, Alex logged in to reunite with Lila, Max, and Sam, the light-hearted rogue whose jokes could break even the heaviest of moods. They completed quests together, faced fearsome dragons, and celebrated digital victories with virtual confetti raining down on them like candy. Yet, as the quests became more outrageous and their banter more extravagant, a sinking feeling began to gnaw at him. Despite the laughter and camaraderie, Alex often felt more alone than ever. In the real world, he lived in a bubble, with walls closing in around him. The irony wasn't lost on him. He had countless friends in a virtual space, yet each night, he logged off to a silent room. Then came the unexpected incident. One fateful evening, as they were gearing up for an epic battle, the game server crashed. Suddenly, Xylo and his friends found themselves bouncing around like marbles in a jar, glitching and spinning uncontrollably. The world around them flickered, colors blending into a dizzying kaleidoscope. Hold on. Lila shouted, struggling to maintain her flight. In the chaos, Xylo stumbled forward, accidentally blurting out, I just want someone to care. A moment of silence fell over the group. The absurdity of the situation collided with a shared understanding of vulnerability. Lila floated closer, her avatar's wings flapping gently. You're not alone, Xylo. We're all in this together. But as the server reset, normalcy returned, and the chatter resumed. Alex logged off that night, a pit forming in his stomach. Had he truly made a connection? Or was it all just part of the game? Days passed, and the glimmer of excitement faded. Alex's friends seemed preoccupied, more absorbed in their quests and personal goals. He watched as they formed new alliances, their conversations drifting away from him like leaves on a breeze. His attempts to engage fell flat, with awkward pauses replacing the laughter that once flowed so freely. Frustrated and feeling increasingly invisible, Alex decided to take a drastic step. He logged off and challenged himself to go a whole week without entering the virtual realm. It was a daunting prospect. What if he lost his friends? What if they forgot him? His first day of solitude was a struggle. He sat in his room, the silence deafening. The only sound was the distant hum of traffic outside his window. Gathering his resolve, he stepped outside, the sun hitting his face like a slap. The world was daunting, full of real people, real conversations, and potential awkwardness. He ventured to a nearby cafe, heart pounding. As he approached the counter, he opened his mouth to order, but the words caught in his throat. One coffee, please?" he managed to stammer. The barista raised an eyebrow, and Alex felt his cheeks flush. "Coming right up," she replied, her tone cheerful. As he took his coffee and found a seat, Alex watched people interact. Friends laughed over lattes, couples whispered sweet nothings, and parents chased toddlers around. Each scene felt like a glimpse into a world he desperately wanted to be part of but was terrified to join. Day by day, he ventured further into the outside world. He tried attending a local game night but ended up standing awkwardly in a corner, sipping soda and pretending to be engrossed in his phone. His attempts to chat were met with polite smiles but ultimately fizzled into silence. Yet amidst the failures, small victories emerged. A brief conversation with a neighbor about their dogs led to a shared laugh. An unexpected invitation to a trivia night from a colleague filled him with exhilaration, even if he didn't know the answers. Each interaction, though awkward, nudged him closer to feeling real connection. Just when he felt a glimmer of hope, he noticed a barrage of messages lighting up his phone. It was from Max, Lila, and Sam, desperately trying to reach him. "Xylo. Where are you? Join us for the epic quest." Their messages grew frantic, urging him to come back. Suddenly, Alex felt the familiar tug of his virtual life pulling him back in. With a mix of anxiety and anticipation, he logged back into the game. The moment Xylo appeared, his friends erupted in cheers. "Xylo! You're back!" Max shouted, waving his sword in excitement. But something had shifted. As they regaled him with tales of their adventures, Alex felt a dissonance. Their shared experiences felt distant, like watching a movie that had already played out. He tried to engage, but his thoughts kept drifting back to the connections he had made in the real world. In a moment of clarity, he realized he could no longer ignore the disconnect. "Guys," he said, mustering his courage, "I've been doing some thinking. I want to talk about us. About real life." Confusion flickered across their faces. "What do you mean?" Lila asked, tilting her head. "I mean, I've been alone a lot, even when I'm here with you. I want to find a balance. Can we meet up in real life?" The air hung thick with silence. Then, in an unexpected twist, Max burst into laughter. "Meet up? You mean like IRL? Is that even a thing?" It was absurd, but that laughter broke the tension. "I mean it," Alex insisted, chuckling at the ridiculousness of the situation. "I want to hang out, outside of this game." As they processed this new idea, excitement began to ripple through the group. "Let's do it!" Sam exclaimed. "We can have a game night at my place, with real snacks and everything." The prospect felt both thrilling and terrifying. The following week, they all agreed to meet at a cafe, the digital world melting away as they prepared to bridge the gap between their two lives. The day finally arrived, and Alex felt a whirlwind of emotions. Would they still be the same? Would he feel as comfortable in person as he did online? When they finally gathered, it was surreal. The cafe buzzed with chatter as Xylo, Lila, Max, and Sam became their real-life counterparts. Laughter erupted as they shared stories of their gaming mishaps, each one more ludicrous than the last. The digital awkwardness melted away, replaced by the warmth of genuine connection. Amidst the chatter, Alex realized he had found what he had been searching for, a community that extended beyond pixels and avatars. They exchanged stories about their lives, finding common ground in their quirks and experiences. As the evening wound down, Alex leaned back in his chair, a content smile on his face. He no longer felt the weight of loneliness pressing down on him. Instead, he felt a sense of belonging, a newfound understanding that friendship could be found both in virtual realms and in the messy, chaotic beauty of real life. In that moment, he understood that it wasn't about choosing one world over the other, it was about embracing both. The avatar Xylo had taught him courage, but it was the real-life connections he had forged that would keep him grounded. As the night wrapped up, Lila raised her glass. To new beginnings, both online and off. To friendship, they all cheered, clinking their glasses together. And as they laughed, Alex realized he was finally home. As the night wound down, Alex savored the warmth of camaraderie that enveloped him. Laughter danced in the air, blending with the scent of coffee and pastries. He felt a sense of belonging he hadn't realized he craved. The initial awkwardness of their first meeting had faded, replaced by the comfort of shared stories and the thrill of new memories being formed. "Okay, who's up for a round of karaoke?" Sam suggested, his eyes glinting with mischief. The idea met with a chorus of groans and chuckles. "Come on. It'll be fun. We can make fools of ourselves together." "I think we already did that last night in the game," Lila quipped, raising an eyebrow playfully. "Remember when Max tried to charm that dragon and ended up setting himself on fire?" Max rolled his eyes, laughing. "That was one time. And it was a magical fire." "More like a Xylo moment," Alex chimed in, teasingly nudging Max with his elbow. They all erupted into laughter again, the sound echoing through the cafe. Finally, with some gentle prodding, they decided to embrace the karaoke challenge. They shuffled to a back room, the air thick with anticipation and a hint of dread. The walls were adorned with posters of legendary performers, and a karaoke machine stood in the corner, waiting to be unleashed. After some enthusiastic debate over song choices, they settled on a classic, "Don't Stop Believin'." As they gathered around the mic, the first notes filled the room, and they took turns belting out the lyrics. Their voices clashed harmoniously, laughter spilling over the occasional missed note. Okay, I'm getting a little too into this," Alex admitted, panting between verses. "I should probably tone it down before I scare the locals." "Too late for that." Lila shot back, her grin infectious. "You've already made quite the impression." They took turns, each performance more hilarious than the last. Max's dramatic rendition included exaggerated arm gestures, while Lila danced around the room, her fairy-like movements causing them all to giggle uncontrollably. Sam grabbed the mic and spun around, pretending to be the star of a rock concert, the kind of bravado Alex had only seen from his avatar. With each song, the bond between them deepened. They shared stories of their online adventures, laughing at their past selves. "Remember when we thought we could take on the Ice Queen without a plan?" Max asked, shaking his head in disbelief. "That was a disaster." "Speak for yourself," Alex said, grinning. I learned how to swim in that frozen lake. The hours slipped away, and as the karaoke session wound down, they stumbled out of the cafe, still buzzing from the night's energy. Outside, the cool night air wrapped around them, and Alex felt a newfound clarity. The world around him felt vibrant and full of possibilities, as if he were seeing everything through a fresh lens. "Hey, can we do this again?" Sam asked, glancing around at the group. "Like, maybe make it a regular thing?" "Definitely." Lila chimed in, enthusiasm bubbling in her voice. "We can rotate who picks the activity each week. I vote for bowling next time." "Bowling? That's a recipe for disaster." Max laughed. "But I'm in." As they made their way to their cars, Alex felt a sense of excitement swell within him. The thought of establishing a regular gathering felt right. It wasn't just about the games anymore, it was about genuine connections, about supporting one another beyond the confines of the virtual world. "Alex," Lila said, her voice softening as she fell into step beside him. "I just wanted to say, I'm really glad you decided to log off and join us. You've brought something special to our group." "Thanks, Lila. I didn't realize how much I needed this," he admitted, his heart swelling. "You all have shown me that it's okay to step outside my comfort zone." As they reached the parking lot, they shared hugs and goodbyes, promising to meet again soon. Alex watched them drive away, feeling a warmth spread through him. He was no longer just Xylo, the avatar, he was Alex, a friend, an integral part of a growing community. The next day, Alex woke up feeling different. The morning sunlight streamed through his window, and for the first time in a long while, he felt energized. Instead of reaching for his controller, he grabbed a book from his shelf. It was a fantasy novel he had been meaning to read. As he flipped through the pages, he lost himself in the story, but it was accompanied by the excitement of the day ahead. He spent the day exploring the city, venturing to places he'd always overlooked. A new cafe caught his eye, a quaint spot with plants spilling over the windowsill and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafting through the air. He stepped inside, inhaling deeply as he ordered a latte. The barista, a friendly woman with bright purple hair, struck up a conversation. "First time here?" she asked, her smile warm. "Yeah, I just discovered it." "It seems like a great place to hang out," he replied, glancing around at the cozy ambience. "You're in luck. We have an open mic night every Thursday." "You should come by," she suggested. "Really? That sounds fun," Alex said, the idea sparking an adventurous thrill within him. He made a mental note to check it out. As he sat in the cafe, sipping his latte, he opened his phone and glanced at the messages from his friends. They were planning the next gathering, throwing around ideas for activities. Alex felt a surge of excitement as he typed a response, eager to contribute his own ideas. "How about we try that open mic night at the cafe I found?" The responses came flooding in. "That sounds awesome. I'm totally in. What if we perform our karaoke hits?" Laughter bubbled up in his throat, and he found himself grinning as he read their enthusiasm. This was it, the start of something beautiful. A blend of reality and fantasy that felt just right. That week flew by in a whirlwind of anticipation. On Thursday evening, they gathered once again at the cafe. The atmosphere was buzzing with energy as people filled the small space, ready to showcase their talents. Alex felt a mix of nerves and excitement as he and his friends took their seats, watching the first performers take the stage. One by one, local musicians and poets shared their art, weaving stories through their words and melodies. Alex was mesmerized. He turned to Lila, who was practically bouncing in her seat. "This is amazing. I can't believe we haven't done this sooner." "I know, right? I'm so glad you suggested it," she replied, her eyes sparkling with delight. When it was their turn, Alex felt his heart race. They huddled together near the stage, mics in hand. "All right, what are we doing?" Max asked, a nervous grin plastered on his face. "Let's do our karaoke song." Sam exclaimed, the excitement in his voice infectious. With a collective nod, they stepped up to the mic. The crowd quieted, and Alex felt the weight of their eyes on them. Taking a deep breath, he launched into the first verse, their voices blending harmoniously. The nerves faded away, replaced by exhilaration as they sang their hearts out. By the time they finished, the crowd erupted into applause, cheers echoing through the cafe. Alex beamed, feeling a rush of joy. They had not only performed but connected with everyone in the room. As they returned to their seats, the thrill of the performance lingered in the air. "That was incredible," Lila squealed, her cheeks flushed with excitement. "We should definitely do this again." "I'm in," Max agreed, still riding the high of the moment. "Next time, we bring costumes." Over the next few weeks, the rhythm of their gatherings became a cherished routine. They experimented with activities, bowling, trivia nights, and more open mics. Each event brought them closer, weaving a tapestry of friendship that Alex had only dreamed of before. One evening, as they sat in their usual cafe, laughter and stories flying back and forth, Sam leaned back, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. "You know, I've been thinking. We should take a trip together, like a weekend getaway." "Where would we even go?" Lila asked, intrigued. "What about a gaming convention?" Sam suggested, eyes gleaming. "It'd be a blast. We could dress up as our characters and meet other gamers." The idea hung in the air, met with a chorus of agreement. Alex felt a thrill of anticipation course through him. This was another layer of connection, another chance to step into a world where their friendships could blossom even further. After some planning, they settled on a convention a few hours away. The excitement built as they coordinated costumes, booked a hotel, and prepared for their adventure. When the day finally arrived, the car was filled with laughter and music, each mile bringing them closer to the convention. As they pulled into the bustling parking lot, Alex's heart raced. The venue was massive, a colorful hive of activity filled with gamers, cosplayers, and booths showcasing the latest in gaming. "Look at that!" Lila shouted, pointing at a booth showcasing new VR technology. "We have to check that out." They spent the day exploring the convention, reveling in the atmosphere. They tried out new games, attended panels, and made memories that felt larger than life. Alex felt as if he were living in a dream, surrounded by the people who had become so important to him. As the sun began to set, they gathered for a group photo in their costumes, a motley crew of characters that captured the spirit of their friendships. Alex stood in the middle, grinning widely, surrounded by his friends, each one a vital part of the tapestry they were weaving together. Later that evening, they sat around a table in a bustling restaurant, sharing stories and laughing about the day's events. Alex marveled at how far he'd come. Just months ago, he had felt alone, trapped in a cycle of virtual escapism. Now, he was surrounded by friends who understood him, who laughed and cried and shared life with him. "Hey, you guys," he said, suddenly serious. "I just want to say thank you for everything. You've made me realize how important these connections are, and I'm grateful for each one of you." Lila smiled, her eyes shining. "We're grateful for you too, Alex. You brought us all together." As they clinked their glasses in a toast to friendship, Alex felt a warmth radiate from his heart. He had stepped out of his virtual world and embraced reality, discovering the beauty of connection along the way. That night, as they settled into their hotel rooms, Alex reflected on how far he had come. He had entered the world of epic realms, searching for acceptance, but he had found so much more. He had discovered the importance of real relationships and how they could transform one's life. In the weeks that followed, the bonds they had forged continued to strengthen. They shared ups and downs, supported each other through challenges, and celebrated victories, both in the game and in life. Alex had finally found his place, not just as Xylo, but as Alex, a friend, a teammate, a part of something bigger. One evening, as they sat in their favorite cafe, laughter ringing in the air, Alex leaned back and gazed at his friends. He felt a deep sense of peace, knowing he belonged. The world outside was still bustling and chaotic, but inside this circle, he felt at home. As he raised his glass to toast once more, he knew he would never take their friendship for granted. It was a journey that had led him from isolation to connection, from a virtual life to a vivid reality, where the lines between fantasy and life blurred into a beautiful adventure. And in that moment, surrounded by laughter and love, he understood that he had truly found his place.